if you will, which is everybody seems now, after the Turkey game, that everybody wants Torres to start in the midfield against England. And what are some of the pluses and minuses of that?
I mean, Torres is a guy who, with one performance, went from, people thinking, maybe he should start, maybe he should, to, no, this guy needs to start. We lost complete faith in Ricardo Clark, and let's start Torres, and I think it's just typical overreaction,
right.
And you want to go with what's working now. And, I think Rico's done a lot for the national team, scored that goal in Trinidad, and he's been a solid guy, and obviously it's competition, I would say, between him and Maurice Adu and Torres. And I really don't think Bob can go wrong, picking any of those guys. Personally, I think, I'd like to see Maurice Adu. I think I would have liked to see him last year. Obviously, he got hurt, and he wasn't able to play in some of those games in Confederations Cup and qualifiers in Costa Rica and Honduras. And I think that, maybe he would have cemented his spot in the central midfield, but he's healthy now, and he's got a big body. And like you said earlier, if they're looking for more of a defensive-minded central midfield pair, I think that the best option probably would be Adu to pair with Michael Bradley.
Yeah, I have to agree. I know Clark has stepped up his game since the Confederations Cup. He made a name for himself. He made a name that he's going to be a regular on the U.S. national team. He really stepped up when Adu was injured. And now that Adu is back, I think, especially against the England match, it's going to be a competition between Adu and Clark, whoever's going to be on form in practice for Bradley to see. As far as games have gone, I would have to go with Adu, but he hasn't played really. I don't think he's played since the Czech game, to tell you the truth.
No, he hasn't.
Which is a shame, because he had an amazing game that game.
Yeah.
But I think we'll either see Clark or Adu paired with Bradley come the England game, and then Torres might actually get the start against the remaining teams. But I think against England, we're going to go more of a defensive-minded team, and we're going to aim to counter and push that way, like we did against Spain, like I said earlier.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I guess, Louis, the question I would ask is, we're looking towards the future. Let's look beyond this World Cup for Torres. You know what? There's just traditionally, in Mexico, at least when he plays for Pachuca, he tends to play center attacking midfielder or a sort of central midfield with a sort of an eye towards offense. But we're playing him as a center defensive midfielder. Again, all these positions, we don't play center attacking midfield on the United States national team unless something drastic happens. We do play center midfield and center defensive, a sort of defensive midfield role. So, but he didn't seem to work out real well on the wing. So when I'm looking towards the future with Torres, where does he fit into this team, 4 years from now?
Well, I think he's, between the guys we've been talking about right now, I think those are the four guys that, they're gonna be the main guys in the middle right there. We know how qualifying goes and playing Gold Cup and all these other games. Hopefully for the U.S. the Confederations Cup the next time around. That's could potentially be 3 tournaments and qualifying between now and Brazil. So Torres is going to get his share of minutes. Right now we're kind of hyper focused on these upcoming games, and we're the spots are limited, but and to look at Michael Bradley, the guy is a yellow card waiting to happen. So there's no guarantee he's going to be available for Algeria. So we might see Adu and Torres, or Torres and Clark starting against Algeria in a must-win game. So the good thing is now that there's options there, and if we do see Torres come out against England, it's not going to be, oh man, what's Bob doing now? It's going to be like, okay, cool,
right.
He went with Torres, and so I think definitely he's going to be a big part, of the future for the U.S.
Yeah.
Since we want to keep this a 20 to 30 minute segment, I'm going to ignore the whole Michael Bradley yellow card waiting to have comments.
Well, you can, Brett, but I just love it when Louis confirms what I've told you 1,000 times. But
I will defend it to the death.
Yellow card waiting to happen. Absolutely. So, Luis Bueno, does the United States get out of this group, and how do they do it?
Okay. I think they do, and if they can get out of a group with Brazil and Italy last year, I think they can get out of a group with England, Slovenia, and Algeria. I think that we're all excited and anxious and anticipating the England game, but the most important game is the Slovenia game. Yep. Because if the U.S. loses to England and Slovenia beats Algeria, Slovenia can just sit back and drop 10 in the box and try for a tie. Mm-hmm. And if the U.S. goes into Algeria with 1 point, I'm not very excited about the prospects of the U.S. getting out. So I think that, let's hope that the U.S. comes out and manages a draw. I think well, obviously a win, but I think the U.S. is capable of a draw, and I think that's what'll happen. But I think we'll see the U.S. beat Algeria, and I think that maybe 7 points is possible. And then we'll see if the U.S. gets Germany or someone else from. Probably not Serbia, right?
No, that's been a pretty hot debate too.
Oh, for me especially, I've been getting slammed for saying Serbia is not as good as they look. Lewis, on just all matter of Serbians have showed up on my site, killing me this week. But really, when you get down to it, if the United States can get out of this group, which is very doable unless we have visions of 2006, which I don't think we do. I think we have Landon Donovan and Dempsey. I mean, these are different players than they were in 2006. Landon Donovan especially, I think, is sort of caught this confidence bug, and he's on a roll. He's on a mission. And but so we get out of this group. Now what do we expect?
Well, we saw last year with what really one goal did in the Confederations Cup with Davey scoring, and then all of a sudden it's like, wow, this is a U.S. team that we hope to see more often. This is a team that plays well, and passing is perfect, and the finishing is there, and the confidence is there, and I think if the U.S. can get 7 points or whatever, get out of that group, and go in with confidence. I think the quarterfinals are within reach for sure. Whether it's Ghana. I'm actually trying to decide between Ghana and Serbia. I don't know why I'm not that high on Australia. I'm just not high on Australia.
Did you see the way Did you see the way they played against the United States? Maybe that's a good reason not to be high on Australia.
Yeah.
I was before that match. After I watched that match, I thought Australia looked a lot more like New Zealand. But the other thing is that Ghana has that injury to Essien, and once Michael Essien's not on your team anymore, that seems to drop you down just a notch. And
I'm telling you, they're my Cinderella team. I think they're gonna pull it out.
Oh, right.
I really do.
Well, that's fine, Brett.
It's a risk, but they are. Also, I was gonna say, seeing how you're a man of history, Lewis. I hope you're accurate, because the prediction was 94 U.S. did well, 98 U.S. did terrible, 2002 U.S. did well, 2006 U.S. did terrible. So if history is accurate, we should do well this year.
yeah, and the common factor there, right, is Europe.
Yep.
And even Sunil Gulati said something sometime over the last couple of years that he's happy the next 2 World Cups aren't going to be in Europe. He even admitted, hey, Europe, something against Europe. Yeah, look at 90, three losses, pretty bad losses to Czech and Austria. So yeah, it's for sure. I see that coming into play.